himself the due penalty for their error. God gave them over to a depraved mind so that they do what they should not be done. They invent ways of doing evil. But let me remind you that those who do such things deserve death. The LGBT community not only continues to do these very things, but also approves of those who practice them.
This man, who likely has no child in the Conway, Arkansas school system where this is located, is trying to play God and recruit the school board in his mission to remove all queer and gender dysphoric kids from society. This perspective ain't nothing new in Dixie, but did you hear any pushback from the school board? Yeah, me neither. This has been a growing pattern we've seen across the country. Christian nationalists installing themselves and their ideology into public institutions at every level. Why? Because they believe their brand of Christianity is the foundation of our government, and they are losing control over the American narrative. They want to restore their doctrine in places where it can have the most effect to ensure its dominance: schools and GOP legislation. Schools and school boards have been bombarded by the moral minority. They throw moral accusations against and threaten board members, principals, and teachers out of their jobs.
It's no secret, the left has been injecting their ideology into our schools for years now. Whether it be critical race theory or gender fluidity or pornographic literature, what have you.
And infiltrate with extreme social policy on gender, race, and religious practice, essentially pressing the reset button and indoctrinating generations from the ground up.
Project Blitz, which most people have not heard of. This is a secret coordinated effort by Christian nationalists to flood our legislative system nationally to privilege Christianity over other religions and to disparage queer rights. This is taken from their playbook in 2021. They actually want to force public schools to offer a biblical literacy class under the pretense of teaching students history.
It is being whispered into the ears of willing Republican legislators.
In our current Congress, 9 out of 10 identify as Christian and 55% identify as Protestant.
And reflected in their bill proposals and self-campaigning speech.
The church is supposed to direct the government. The government is not supposed to direct the church. That is not how our founding fathers intended it. And I'm tired of this separation of church and state junk that's not in the Constitution. It was in a stinking letter, and it means nothing like what they say it does.
The GOP's motive is simply raw power, which means they have no economic fixes for the American poor and middle class. So they rely on culture war issues to attract Christian nationalist voters and candidates, using political party as a metric for morality.
Some people say, well, they're soft on crime. No, they're not soft on crime. They're pro-crime. They want crime. They want crime because they want to take over what you got. They want to control what you have. They want reparation because they think the people that do the crime are owed that. Bullshit. They are not owed that.
Joe Biden's 5 million illegal aliens are on the verge of replacing you. Replacing your jobs and replacing your kids in school. And coming from all over the world, they're also replacing your culture. And that's not great for America.
And one of this year's biggest human rights losses for women, the Dobbs decision to let states determine abortion rights, even that has been further influenced by Christian nationalism, as it is now being targeted with federal legislation.
The Supreme Court that was intentionally stacked by Christian nationalists to overturn Roe v. Wade, which, by the way, the only group of people in America who wanted that overturned were white evangelical Protestants.
This has been their agenda from the beginning, to blend religion and politics. And as the dissenting justices said, that's very dangerous in a country of 300 million with over 100 religions.
Christian nationalists have been chipping away for decades at the foundation of our democracy that clearly establishes no one religion dictates our government and lives. Democrats should have heeded warnings like Reverend Jerry Falwell's political rise in the 70s and 80s.
Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then all these things, the economy, military preparedness, deficits, etc., will be added unto you. God will take care of those second level matters if you, as a nation, attend to the chief, the paramount priority, which is our relationship to God and our commitment to biblical principles.
and Barry Goldwater's famous take on evangelicals that says, "Mark my word, if and when these preachers get control of the Republican Party, and they're sure trying to do so, it's going to be a terrible damn problem. Frankly, these people frighten me. Politics and governing demand compromise, but these Christians believe they are acting in the name of God, so they can't and won't compromise. I know. I've tried to deal with them." They should have taken legislative action to position themselves in power to prevent Christian nationalism from breaking our constitutional law and taking away our rights. Appoint and vote for school board members who keep creationism and hateful rhetoric out of our schools. Rally behind non-evangelical local, state, and federal candidates, or join your school board, run for office. Because if Christian nationalism wins our government and our schools, we will have allowed an American Taliban to take hold.